manifesting, what it truly means, what stops people from turning their dreams into reality, and how to change that. We are Space for Awareness, and this is our second podcast with Tika. And we would like to cover law of attraction topic and discuss the biggest struggles that people face these days and how to overcome it.
Yeah, beautiful. Can't wait to speak more about that. Maybe let's start with a personal example. Is there anything that you were able to manifest in your life that you want to show or share with the audience?
Well, I would probably first like to speak about what is manifesting for me personally, because we all see this topic in a very different light, especially with all the law of attraction and the secret books. People get to know the topic of how to turn their dreams into reality through visualizations and focused attention. So when it comes to manifesting, I do believe that manifesting is something that we do every day. It's not some kind of rocket science or magic. Every single idea that we have or a feeling holds a potential. And if we focus our attention on that potential, then it turns into reality. It can turn into our internal state or external results. For example, we wake up in a bad mood, right? I'm in a bad mood. And if I focus on that mood, if I focus on that thought, I will manifest a bad day. So it turns into anything that we do, manifesting. And did I manifest anything in my life? I would say I manifested my life, the way that I live and the way that it is, through my thoughts and feelings. But did I manage to focus attention on something I want and turn it into a real example? Yes, when I learned what we will talk about today. And you personally, how do you see manifesting, and what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's important to understand that we can both manifest good and bad things in our life. And it's important also to understand that our thoughts are the source of creation. And if we think negatively, we will create negatively. If we think positively, we will create positively. However, at this moment, I'm speaking a lot about thinking, but manifesting is also a lot about feeling. And this is actually where it clicked for me when I started to understand that the heart and the brain are consistently working together, and that it is about mastering those two in order to create what you desire to create. And for me, manifesting means to operate from the heart, let the heart decide what you're thinking, and then create that with intention. And yeah, personally, I will probably have a couple of examples to mention, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Do you agree?
Yes, definitely. Definitely, thoughts create feelings and feelings create thoughts. It comes to chemical reactions in our body and the way that human biology works. But do you really believe that it's always good to trust the heart? Do you believe that people need enough mindfulness in themselves to understand when the heart is speaking from intuition and when it's speaking from insecurity? Because if we hold a lot of trauma, if we hold a lot of unprocessed emotions, they can come in center of heart as a false signal, which will lead us to bad decisions. So do you believe that before we actually manifest from our heart, we need to go through a healing process?
We have to learn how to find resonance between the heart and the brain. And this was explained beautifully by Joe Dispenza. This is a book that I learned a couple of years ago. And he really shifted my perception on like how to manifest my desires or how to operate from the heart, because he clearly explained how the brain waves function and how the heart functions and how to find coherence between those two. And we can have like a quick look at some of the things that he teaches that I feel that could really help people if they understand these concepts.
Coherence is rhythm. It's a cadence. And when you're in fear or you're in survival and your heart rate increases and your respiratory rate increases, your brain waves go up into this aroused state, right? And people spend 70% of their life anticipating the worst case scenario that's going to happen in their life and prepare for the worst. Chronic stress does what? Causes us to hold our breath. All right. So we found, in our research and working with the Heart Math Institute and also some of the stuff we've been doing, that if you slow your breathing down, you slow your brain waves down. And if you teach your body to move out of survival, there's only one other thing it wants to do. It wants to create, right? So now just imagine a big drum. And now you're so contracted that you can't hit that drum. And as you learn and teach a person how to convert from that fight or flight nervous system to the nervous system of relaxation, the heart actually starts to bloom. And when you place your attention on your heart, we have the data. I can say this emphatically. That when that heart starts to beat in rhythm, it starts to inform the brain that it's time to create. Like taking a big sheet and going like this, a wave of energy goes right to the brain. The brain goes right into alpha and says, it's safe now to create. Examine other possibilities. You're out of survival, right? So then as you hit that drum repeatedly, there's a wave of sound that's produced. And the more coherent it is, the more it can carry information, right? Or if you drop a pebble in the water and you drop another pebble in the water and you drop another pebble in the water, when your heart is coherent, there's a magnetic field, right?
Yes, definitely. I agree with that. That for manifesting, there is a lot of mindfulness work to be done. It's not just creating some idea and believing that it will turn into reality, because again, doubts are coming, stress is coming. What if it will not work? So if we don't keep a focused attention on a goal, which we have a potential to do that, we have a goal, we want to have a specific reality or internal state, it doesn't matter what is that manifestation. But to keep a targeted attention, we need to create a state of relaxation, just how Joe Dispenza explains. We need to create a steady focus, because if we don't have a steady focus, a coherent heart and brain activity, the focus goes like this. So you cannot keep that attention on your goal or on your vision. You spiral into doubt, into survival. And so manifestation is a lot not about just rainbows and butterflies. It's an art, it's a talent to actually keep that focus flowing.
Yeah, and what he mentioned and what you mentioned earlier, it is about practicing techniques for yourself in order to bring yourself in that slower brainwave state. And then when the heart rate is slower, the brain waves are slower, you feel more calm, your nervous system relaxes, and all it wants to do is create. And it creates from resonance. And that is, I think, a skill that we can learn. However, it's not easy. And what do you think is one of the biggest pitfalls for people to not manifest their desired reality?
Well, I do believe, honestly, is scattered attention. And scattered attention means that you cannot keep a focus on a goal. If we talk about brainwave states, right? Yes, we can create and attract from alpha, right? But if we want to focus action, we still have to go to beta brainwave state, because the active, the thinking brain. And for manifesting, it's a lot of action you need to do. You can't just sit there, I will manifest and you will. It doesn't work that way. You need to have a active brain at many times, especially if it's material goals. If it's internal goals, it's a bit different topic. But let's say we want a material goal or reach a success, whatever that means to us. We need to be able to have an active energy. But that active energy needs to have a clear focus. And for that active needs to, as you say, come from the heart. Even if I'm acting from my truth. And people cannot manifest because of scattered attention. What if something happens? I want this goal, but maybe this as well, but maybe that. And this scattered attention, it's like taking something and wanting to keep yourself on it, but something else comes up and something else and something else, and you just cannot hold that. And that's why people cannot manifest. It's not much about, this is my belief, it's not much about laziness or something. It's more that they cannot keep their attention on the point. We all have energy if we really want to do something.
Yeah, it's important to understand that our scattered mind can really be in the way of the manifestation of the dream that we once had. What I think is also important is to, if you choose that dream and you go for it and you make the steps toward accomplishing it, of course, if you start making steps towards the other direction, that is where your energy will go, and that will be what you create. So it is important to consistently walk on the same path and not consistently like just change all your desires and move with the trends of life. And if at some day you wake up and suddenly you want to have a whole different house in another location with a different job, and you start to walk in that direction, then this is probably what you will get in the future. Maybe not instantly. If you choose a different path before getting that house, getting that job, then of course your dreams are not going to manifest itself. So it's consistent behavior.
Exactly. You know, I always say to my students this, that we are like a battery, right? We have 100%, let's say, of energy through the day. And we want to manifest some goal. Doesn't matter what it is. Relationship, material, whatever. Spiritual. We need to decide how much of energy I want to put in this dream throughout that day. Maybe 80%. 100 is very hard because we have other responsibilities, unless you put all of yourself in it and neglect your family, neglect your other areas. But let's say 80. If you put 80% of your energy into that goal that you want to achieve each day, day by day, I wake up, I put. No distractions. It is natural, it will come into a reality. It is consistency and focus. If you say, oh, yes, I want to achieve that, but today I put 80, tomorrow I put 20, and then I put 10, and then I put 0. Doesn't matter what you technically dream, it's how you place yourself.
Yeah, we have a beautiful clip on this as well, and we can show the viewers that it's not just us saying this, but this has been researched and this has been talked about by so many well-known people. And let's have a look at this little clip where we can show it.
Positive mantras don't work. And they don't work because people pick positive mantras that they don't believe. So if you are in a studio apartment eating rice and beans, barely able to pay your bills, standing in front of a mirror and saying, I'm a millionaire, I'm going to be a millionaire someday. What happens based on research is your brain's like, actually, have you seen where you live? Like, have you seen that you've quit every job that you've had? Have you seen and heard your negative self-talk? I don't think this is going to, like, your brain's like, Your brain has a great bullshit detector. And so the mistake people make is they pick a mantra that is the exact opposite of the way they treat themselves.
Yeah, what this summarizes is that it is important to pick goals that are aligned with where we can see ourselves going. If we don't believe in it because it's too far away, it is very difficult to actually manifest it because the journey is too long. We have to be able to make consistent steps and to see ourselves in that desired reality. If we cannot believe it, if we cannot feel it, what it feels like, then it will actually be very difficult. It's very easy to go into a different path because it takes too long to actually get to your goal. That is why it's important when we set those goals that we want to manifest to be realistic to ourselves.
Well, yes. I mean, in this case, I could debate a little bit. If you see yourself in an apartment where you cannot pay your bills and you stand in front of a mirror and say, I will become a millionaire, or I am a millionaire in the present tense, right? If you are willing to invest 99% of your energy, doesn't matter how long it takes, to keep that focused attention. And yes, it's to do with belief, but it's also to do with sacrifice, because people cannot sacrifice bullshit that they're telling to themselves. They want to invest 80% of the time in their drama in their head, in their failures, and maybe 10 or 20 in their goals. That doesn't work that way. You have to sacrifice the bullshit. You have to sacrifice everything and say, okay, I am not there yet, but I am getting there. And from now on, I'm investing 99% of my time, or 90, health as well matters, on this goal. Doesn't matter where I am or what I'm doing. I am going to do this. 5 years maybe, doesn't matter. But day by day, standing in front of your goal. I believe that people can achieve anything. You can become a millionaire if you're broke. You can create a beautiful relationship if you suffered abuse and trauma. It's possible. We are limitless potential, but we need to be willing to make a sacrifice of stopping the bullshit and just doing it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's too much about percentage of how much we can dedicate our time into it. It's more about how much can we feel ourselves into it. And if it's something we have never felt before, it will be very difficult to create the emotion that is needed in order to attract that towards you, because eventually it's also about energy, right? We set a certain energy frequency, and by setting that frequency, we can attract it towards us. So if we have never had any experiences where we could imagine what it feels like, it will be difficult to attract it. But I agree fully that if we consistently can show up for life with that desired emotion or feeling, we can create it. No matter where we come from, we can create it. But you need to become very proficient in feeling that emotion. And you can use different techniques. Like you can imagine something that was good that happened to you in the past and create that same emotion for attracting the big villa, or maybe getting rid of your alcohol addiction or any other trauma that is appearing in your life. You just need to know how it feels.
Exactly. Very true. I mean, we all have experienced abundance, those moments of in our life, we all have. And just to call out that emotion, as you say, very true. If you don't know how it feels like, it's hard for you to even imagine. But if you do a mental rehearsal, that's what we teach in our community. If you do mental rehearsals and you call out that emotion and you sit with it, that's why meditation is so important, to do active meditation. If we call it out and we sit with that feeling that we ever got, we create this bond of energy, and then we do a physical movement day by day, connected with the energy, and voila.
So what do you think are the key practices that everyone can do to become better at manifesting?
Well, obviously what you mentioned, mental rehearsals are very important just to keep that emotion. I also believe that working with our hormonal state, which would come to different breath work techniques depending on person's energy, exercise, healthy diet, to keep your hormones in a positive state, because our internal state, how we feel, it influences our thoughts. So if I feel good within myself, it's easier for me to focus on that goal. So it comes down to mental and physical things to actually move towards manifesting something. But yes, focused attention, mental rehearsals, and keeping yourself healthy. I believe it's not that complicated.
Yeah, I agree. I feel it's everything that you can do to keep your mind in a positive state. it's helpful. And that can also mean physical movement. Like for me, it helps if I feel like certain blockages in the body or my mind starts to get a bit negative, to do some relaxing yoga or to go for a long walk, watch a sunset. Like it can be everything that gives you a bit more of the feeling of gratitude for life, which in general, I think if you can shift yourself into the gratitude for life, we can stay positive and create what we desire.
And what do you believe stops people from actually taking action and believing in themselves, believing that they can achieve something? I mean, it's pretty obvious with the amount of information now we have online, we have research there, we have so many famous people talking about manifesting, right? There's so much influence on the topic, but people are still stuck. When you ask, I don't know, if you would ask people on the street, do you have a vision? Do you have a goal? Are you following it? No, I don't know what I want. What do you believe that stops people from actually taking action?
Well, first of all, I think a lot of people are not aware of the power of their mind. They have never been told that they are actually the one who is creating their future. They believe that life is happening to them. And they often blame other people, like, oh, I didn't get that job because my partner distracted me all the time. This is such a big mistake. Like, your partner was not distracting you. You allowed your partner to distract you. So you didn't set the right boundaries. Like, connect with yourself, choose yourself every day, and don't believe that life is happening to you, because life is happening for you. And you are in control of that. So when you wake up to that realization, everything will shift. What do you think?
I believe so, absolutely, and I agree with what you're saying. People need to understand that they are creating a life from their internal state. Whatever is inside is happening outside. And it's easy to say that, we hear quotes all the time, but when you actually realize that I'm creating how I feel, I'm creating where I'm going, my attention flows where I choose it to flow, and it creates whatever I choose it to create. Then you feel this internal power and you stop blaming external environment, you stop complaining about what happened. It's creating from within, and that's resonating with your thought. So yes, I believe also that people just are so focused on external life, external circumstances, the environment, not knowing. No one teaches people from early age that, look, you are the captain of the ship. You swim where you want, right? And I believe that's the reason why.
Yeah. Great. Before we finish this podcast, we promised viewers that we will share a personal story about something that we've manifested. Do you want to get started?
Well, I did manifest a lot of beautiful things when I realized that I'm in control of the game. I wanted to write a book without experience, and I did write my first book, and I released it, and it went really well. And that was just a dream of a girl who just began her spiritual journey and began to discover herself. And I kept my attention on it. I said, I will become an author. I will become an author, and this is what I will do. I took a pen, I took a paper, began creating a project, began writing, and here it was. I was doing seminars on my book. And I wanted to write the second one, and I did. So I take a manifestation as, personally, as I said, I will keep up to my word. A potential idea, focused attention, and belief. And this is a lot of things at the moment is manifesting in that way, including space for awareness. And yes. And you? Do you have a...
Yeah, there's that example as well with Space for Awareness was something beautiful that happened to me at my birthday of last year, where I have this practice of writing down what I want to create in that year coming up. And it was the 17th of May, it was my birthday, where I wrote down what I wanted to create. And one of those things was collaborations with people that can have a big impact. And at that moment, we didn't know each other very well, but I was like, I could see how we could create something that could really make an impact on people, their lives. And it was only one day after that you actually wrote me and said, why don't we create something together? And I was sitting with my hands up and looking at the universe saying, thank you. Yeah, so that was a beautiful example. And actually, like every day, I feel that this life I'm living now, where I'm not so dependent on the location of where I'm working, was something that I manifested when I was for my first time in Indonesia, sitting on the beach and looking out over the ocean and thinking, I really wished that I could one day work from a remote island. And I was only like 21 or 22 years old, and no one was ever speaking about manifestation. But then I also was writing my book. And while I was writing, I was realizing that in that moment when I was in that state of gratitude, looking over the ocean, I was creating that state of mind that created what I have now, where I'm like working remotely or not really dependent on my location. I can move freely if I want to. And that was already something that I was doing without being consciously aware of it. And I think that's one key as well to give to the viewers, is that when we are in a state of gratitude and we have a love for life, it is much easier to actually attract that life.
Yes, that's very beautifully said.
Yeah. We have one last beautiful clip that we can summarize a few steps that people need to do and need to remember if they want to manifest their desired reality, from Sadhguru. Let's have a look.
Once your mind gets organized, the way you think is the way you feel, your emotion will get organized. Once your thought and emotion is organized, your energies will get organized in the same direction. Once your thought, emotion and energies are organized, your very body will get organized. Once all these four are organized in one direction, your ability to create and manifest what you want is phenomenal. You are the creator in many ways. That which is the source of creation is functioning within you every moment of your life. It is just that, have you kept access to that dimension or not? Organizing the four basic elements of your life will give you that access. There are tools and technologies to do this. The whole science of yoga, the whole technology that we refer to as yoga is just about this, transforming yourself from being just a piece of creation to become a creator.
It gives me goosebumps every time. But yeah, I hope that people will take this with them.
Yes, and we really hope that you enjoyed this podcast and it will bring you clarity. And thank you, Tika, for being here. Yes. If you enjoyed this podcast with us, please subscribe to our channel, support us, send out your ideas to us and topics that you want us to cover, and we will definitely consider it and create more beautiful podcasts and mindful talks for you. See you next time.